Hi guys, this is Erica Weston with
Valley
Sports Midwest, and you're listening to my favorite St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio.
As the world's only personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment and your DNA, ID Life provides its members with high-quality ingredients backed by pure science.
It's science.
Check out rockinthatidlife.com and speak with Dustin about how you can reach your goals today. That's rockinthatidlife.com.
Center Ice Brewery is a proud sponsor of Let's Go Blues Radio. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in their awesome tap room. That's Center Ice Brewery, located in Midtown St. Louis. Let's go Blues!
Welcome to Season 9, Episode 38 of Let's Go Blues Radio. This is the fully vaccinated, often imitated, never duplicated, unsubstantiated, overcomplicated, overstimulated, discombobulated, unadulterated, with the blues, not associated, never mediated, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. That's a mouthful, folks. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by rockinthatidlife.com, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA, and by centericebrewery.com, St. Louis's first and only hockey-themed brewery. We're broadcasting live on Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. This is franchise episode number 304 all time. I'm your host, Jeff Ponder, and I'm joined by inline hockey shootout specialist Kurt Price. Bill Day is currently interviewing for a front office role for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who could really use some help right now. For your listening pleasure, we'll be talking St. Louis Blues hockey for the next little while. To interact with the show on social media, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just do a search for us. If you can listen to a podcast, you can certainly search the internet. Have you checked out our Discord server? Blues fans can talk with other Blues fans with either text or voice chat, and the three of us will periodically be in there during Blues games or after Blues games. I should update that. Over the summer, let's say. For more info, go to letsgoblues.com/Discord. We're dual live streaming right now on YouTube and Facebook. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the show, smash the bell, so you'll get notifications when we go live. Kurt, we'll get to you in a minute, but we do have a special guest. We'll give her a more formal introduction later, but I do want to go ahead and welcome in Miss HildyMac from St. Louis Game Time. Thank you for joining us, Hildy.
Thank you so much for having me.
And your real name is it HildyMac? Is that your birth name?
No, thank God.
Okay.
No, it's Laura Astorian.
Cool.
So I've just gone by HildyMac like 20 years, so it just kind of stuck.
Is there a story behind HildyMac?
Yeah, there's got to be a story, right?
Honestly, I don't even remember. It's been so long.
Oh my gosh.
Like it's been like high school level of long.
Well,
so
you're only, what, 23, right?
Fresh out of high school.
I wish. Right? No. Man, I wish I were, but I am not.
So, Kurt, this is our first off-season show, and as you can tell, our roles have been reversed. I am on the left, Kurt is on the right, so now I get to talk over him anytime I want. So, Kurt, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
So on with the show, we're going to be...
See, I see what you did there, and I appreciate that. That was good. Well done. Well played.
I'm glad that's what you appreciates.
That's what I appreciate about you. We're the unadulterated podcast, but is adulterated a word to be? There's the counter to unadulterated would be adulterated. You're the writer, Jeff.
I don't think it is. You tell me, Laura. You are you're kind of a smart person. I don't think it is.
I mean, it's a word, but I don't know if I'd really apply it here.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not applicable here.
I mean,
adulterated. Yeah, you're right.
I don't want to sidetrack this show already.
Well, it's the summer. We can do whatever the hell we want.
It's the
Shit,
summer.
next episode, I'm just going to read straight from the dictionary. That's the plan.
There we go.
Yeah.
We can do whatever we want.
Yeah. Episode what episode is this? I don't even know. This is episode 38. So episode 39, the Kelly Chase episode, could be just page 3 of the dictionary, right?
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Page 3 and 9. We'll throw in
3
an
and
extra
9.
page.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Or page 39, I guess.
Page 39 works.
Pick a word. Page 39. That's the word of the show on page 39 of the dictionary.
So I do want to go ahead and tell everybody, in case you missed our last show and maybe you are a new listener for whatever reason, and we do pick up listeners over the summer because of what we do. We do have shows every week over the off season. Can't promise it will always be live, but I would like to try and continue the live trend. This is just this last season. I thought we had one of our best seasons so far. Of course, I'm speaking for myself here. We hit 300 episodes. Thought we had some good content for everybody. Had Stephen Walden on, who's one of my favorite guests we've ever had. So we're going to continue the live shows as much as we can. So if you are starving for some Blues hockey talk, even in the dead months of the summer, you can still count on Let's Go Blues Radio. We will still be here, and it probably will be more of Kirk Price and Bill Day than you're used to over the summers. Typically, it's just been my job to take the summer shows and run with it, but Kurt and Bill have showed some enthusiasm for coming back on this summer, so hopefully that continues.
I feel like we should still be talking hockey. That's why I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to
plenty
give
to
up.
talk
I'm not
about.
a quitter. I'm not a quitter.
No, we don't need to take summers off. I mean, my God, hockey is a year-round thing. I mean, for the very least, we can talk about our own hockey games, right?
So Adam Gold in the Facebook chat, since I'm monitoring this show, that's my job.
Loser.
I fell asleep in the draft lottery. So that's the pinned comment for the show. I'm going to put that right at the top until somebody bumps him off. That's an appropriate pinned comment of the show is I fell asleep in the draft lottery.
Appropriate for him, especially, because that is definitely an Adam
Friend of the
comment.
show.
Friend of the show, Adam Gold. Yeah. Somebody who I think, and I haven't talked to him about it yet, but it's somebody I think you'll be hearing from this summer. Adam is somebody that we've had on before. We like to have him on again. Yeah.
What would we? Okay. Yeah, you're right. We would.
I mean, I wouldn't, but you and Bill, I think, do.
I like Adam. Adam's a good guy.
Adam's a good dude. Yeah. So let's get into our official beers of the episode. You remember you can follow each of us on the Untapped app, well, at least 3 of the regular hosts on the show. Kurt can be found at CPrice12. Myself can be found at JPonder94. And Bill can be found at BillyBlueNote33. HildyMac, do you have any idea what the Untapped app is?
I do, and I'm on it. And I believe I'm just at HildyMac because I'm original.
Well, we gotta find her. We gotta have a new blues person to follow on there.
Yeah.
Well, we'll start with you, Hildy.
It's been a while since I used it. Let me re-download the app real quick.
We'll do that.
Yeah, no, I'm on there.
And go follow HildyMac on there for if you're on Untapped. Hildy, we'll let you start. What is your beer of this episode?
Well, since I'm in Atlanta, I'm drinking something that's only available down here. So sorry, but it is I usually hate hard seltzers, but this brewery actually has seltzers that actually taste like seltzer water and not like gross candy. So I'm doing a Scofflaw hard seltzer. They're black cherry. Let me kind of get in there.
Nice.
It's not bad. If I drink anything heavier right now, I'd probably fall asleep.
Well, that's a testament. That's a testament to our show.
So,
Kurt, how about you?
I am having Leinenkugel Summer Shandy since it is this summer. I think I had this on one of our more recent shows, but I'm having it again. So Leinenkugel Summer Shandy, lemony Weiss beer with natural lemonade flavor, 4.2% in a 12-ounce bottle. I like it. Summer beers. It was either that or Porch Rocker. They're very similar. So it's 5-3 Montreal. Is that the score?
Yeah, 5-3. Yeah. Yep. And
Someone's
1 minute
too.
left.
Someone's hurt with Montreal. Somebody's face down on the ice.
Someone I didn't see that.
Shot. Yeah, I assume Weber's pissed.
Yeah, I see Weber.
Cheap shot.
Yeah, he's down. I don't know who that is.
Oh boy.
I don't. Yeah,
that's not good. Well, Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later, talk about the NHL playoffs. But let's just say we went to Center Ice Saturday night, which is the home of my beer of the episode, the Center Ice Brewery Revolving Pale Ale Series. This is Series 6. And it's just one of my favorite things to go. Every time I go to Center Ice, I got to grab one of the 4 packs of the Revolving Pale Ale Series because it's always good stuff. So at Center Ice, we were there Saturday night watching the Montreal-Toronto Game 7. I'm sorry, Game 6. And had a great time. We had an unbelievable night up there. Actually met Bill was wearing his Kotkaniemi Niemi jersey. I was wearing a Habs shirt, and we were clearly cheering for the Canadiens. And we met a couple up there that were cheering for Toronto. We shared shots. We had a great time. Adam's an excellent bartender. If you're in St. Louis and you haven't been to Center Ice Brewery, check them out. It's always a fun time to watch any kind of sporting event.
Yeah, I just saw that it was a hit on Evans. I didn't see who hit him, but oh my God, he got laid out on a wraparound on an empty net. Ooh, head down, got destroyed.
It looked like Scheifele. Scheifele was the one that they sent off, so I might have been him.
Yeah, I'm assuming head was principal point of contact, and so
they got the stretcher out. That's not good.
I mean, if it was, I saw one replay, so there might be a suspension here for this. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It very well could be.
Destroyed him.
Yep.
Jeez.
So we, I want to go ahead and talk about today in Blues history. We're going to move this back up to the top of the show for the summer shows because not a lot happens in the summer shows. So might as well throw those back up at the top. There's none for today, so I'll go ahead and read yesterday's. June 1st. I'm sorry, that's June 1st. Yeah, it is June. Woo! All right,
June 2nd.
June 1st, 2019. Bob Plager, Bernie Federko, Alex Petrangelo, Brett Hall, Chris Pronger. Hey, buddy, we're back. Prior to Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final, it was a video posted by the St. Louis Blues, one of a very memorable video that Blues fans all remember before that game. So, again, nothing for June 2nd, but thought we should at least throw in something for June, as it is the start of June. A lot of kids out of school now. So we will be back to talk to HildyMac more about her work for St. Louis Game Time, as well as her thoughts on the St. Louis Blues season, what's coming up this summer, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about, because it's summer and we do what we want here. Right after this message from ID Life. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Put that energy drink down. Don't you know that common energy drinks contain high levels of caffeine and other harmful ingredients that can lead to increased blood pressure and heart rhythm disturbances? Finding that energy you need for everyday activities doesn't need to put your health at risk. ID Life's energy formula doesn't use artificial ingredients or a massive dose of caffeine. Energy's caffeine levels are released slowly over time, allowing for longer periods of energy without crash, not to mention keeping your heart safe. Energy also includes neurotransmitters for mood, focus, memory, and cognitive function. ID Life also added antioxidants associated with brain health for no reason besides perfection. With RockinThatIDLife.com, you can get an energy boost and leave the heart risk behind. Text Dustin at 636-393-8745 or visit RockinThatIDLife.com and throw those gas station energy drinks in the garbage. That's 636-393-8745 and RockinThatIDLife.com and tell Dustin that Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. We've got, first of all, I mean, again, it's June 2nd, folks. Season's over. Not going to have any groundbreaking news as far as the Blues go right now. But we do have the Blues signing forward Keen Washkaruk to a 3-year entry-level contract, drafted by the Blues in the 5th round, number 155 overall in 2019. He spent last season with HK Levice. I'm going to say it's Levice. In Slovakia, 10 assists and 19 points, along with 110 penalty minutes in 21 regular season games. Also added 26 penalty minutes in 4 postseason games. I saw our friend Art Lippo loved this kid, talking about how many majors this kid had. So probably not anyone we're going to see anytime soon, but maybe if at all. But definitely one of those Berube style players that maybe we'll get a look at some point.
Odds are that Brewery's coaching this team if and when he does appear for the Blues are slim and none.
Yeah, I think so. I also want to add for this one, check out season 8, episode 65. If you want to know more about Keen Washkaruk, that was the episode that we also had Carlo Koliakovo on. I interviewed somebody with the OHL network, Marcus Boudelier, for those that remember that episode. Talked to him about Washkaruk's development. That was before he went to Slovakia, but did see a lot of him in the OHL. So we had some great insight for anybody who might be interested. Ryan O'Reilly.
26 penalty minutes. Sorry, 26 penalty minutes and 4 playoff games. Did you mention that? I was doing something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Yep.
Sounds like Chris Pronger against San Jose in 2000.
Yeah, or anybody.
Yeah, right. Ryan O'Reilly is the Blues nominee for the King Clancy Memorial Trophy, which is awarded to the NHL player who best exemplifies leadership qualities on and off the ice and has made a noteworthy humanitarian contribution to the community. Well-deserved. If you know anything about Ryan O'Reilly off the ice, he did a lot of awesome Zoom stuff over the past year with doctors, with kids, and has obviously made some humanitarian contributions in the St. Louis area. So I think that's a well-deserved nominee for the King Clancy Memorial Trophy.
This is some script material for the next Car Shield commercial.
Yes,
with O'Reilly and Pat Maroon.
I've won 2 cups. Yeah, well, I was nominated for the Clancy.
I was nominated for the King Clancy.
Woo!
Jeez. No, stop. Why do you bring that junk into this show?
Hildy, I
Why
do
do you
that
do
just to piss Kurt off. Just so
Jesus.
you know. I don't believe in the woo at all.
It's a disease.
It's too much fun to piss him off.
It's a disease.
So as I mentioned, today we are joined by Laura HildyMac, as she is known. You can follow her on Twitter at HildyMac. That's HildyMac. She is the managing editor for St. Louis Game Time, one of our favorite places to check out Blues news. They are a Pulitzer and Grammy-winning fan-run paper, right? I'm right on that, right? We can claim whatever we want on this show.
Yeah. Okay, then yes. Yeah, we've done both.
It's amazing you guys won a Grammy. That's something.
Good word.
So it's been sold out outside of Enterprise Center for a very long time before home games. Also, make sure, more importantly, for over the summer, check them out over at stlouisgametime.com. They're also on Twitter and Facebook and wherever you want to find social media. Yes, if you're watching the video, you can see stlouisgametime.com. Kurt is pointing it out for you.
Get my everything's backwards, when you're doing the stupid
camera.
I know. Right there, the bottom of the screen in the middle.
Wait. Yeah. Wait.
You feel like a newborn. I don't know how to use my limbs. You just point in the wrong direction.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
I can't. But he's pointing in the wrong direction. What's wrong with that?
So, Hildy, you are the managing editor. You told me before the show, which I did not realize, you've been with the newspaper, at least on the website, since 2008. Sure, a lot of crazy stories coming out of Game Time, which we'll get to, but thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, anytime. Anytime.
So I have to ask, going in, as you're obviously a St. Louis Blues fan, but for those who don't know, you live in Atlanta. You teach for a living. Are you from St. Louis? How did you become a Blues fan? What's your story?
Yeah. I'm originally from St. Louis. We, my family moved out here in the 90s, and stuff happens, and you just never really get a chance to not be down here. So I've been down here since '92, but been a Blues fan the whole time. Was the Thrashers season ticket holder, so I put myself through that for a little bit. But just became a fan when I was a little kid, and it just never went away.
So you witnessed Keith Tkachuk getting traded to the Atlanta Thrashers. How exciting was that for you when that happened?
Well, it was pretty exciting, just because that was a sign that for once, the ownership and the coaches and everybody were on the same page, and we were going all in for the playoffs, and then got swept.
Yeah.
But, it was exciting for that little bit of the regular season and those 4 playoff games.
Are you a Winnipeg Jets fan now, or how does that work?
No, absolutely.
I don't know. Some fans follow the team. I don't know if that, you know, I don't know how that works, but some don't.
I was still a fan of quite a few of the players that went, you know, up to Winnipeg, but overall, following the team, not particularly that much. I mean, I know a lot of really super nice Jets fans, but can't be a fan of a team in the Blues division anyway, and I definitely am not going to be a fan of Winnipeg.
People ask me people ask me if I would be a fan of the Blues if they moved. And I'm like, that's a really good question. I know I would be I would be for, and we wouldn't have a team then, obviously. So I guess. Yeah. But it's I don't know. I guess I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Hopefully never. But
hopefully not.
Yeah. Hopefully Saskatoon doesn't take them from us.
Right. Better late than never.
So Hildy, I also wanted to ask you. So obviously, being where you're at with we just got a message from Bill. I want to mention this now. He says, "Fuck Mark Scheifele."
Yeah,
the resident Habs fan, not happy with Mark Scheifele after that hit.
Nope.
And by the way, the Colorado Avalanche just scored, and they were up 1-0.
Oh, that goal!
Yeah, that's not a good goal.
Completely whiffed on it, and it just slowly goes through Fleury's legs. Oh my god!
Yep, that's a shame.
It is Fleury, right? Yeah,
Fleury's in tonight.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to talk to you about Atlanta itself. So listen, I've said on this show, and I don't know if you're aware, my favorite jersey that I own is with the baby blue Thrashers jersey. I love that jersey. And I thought Atlanta got I'm not old enough to remember the Atlanta Flames, but I feel like the Atlanta Thrashers got the city of Atlanta got a horrible shake with that team. And I felt so bad for there were diehard Thrashers fans, those that want to make jokes. I felt so bad for those people. They deserved better. I don't know. I guess I'll include you in that.
Thank you.
But they never had a chance to win. The one team they had, it was a one and done year. Like you said, didn't even win a playoff game in their time in Atlanta. So I have to ask, and I think I know the answer, but I want to get it from somebody who's down there and in the know. Will Atlanta in the next, let's say, 40 years get another NHL team?
40 years? Wow.
40 years probably. By that
you think so?
Well, by that time, I'm going to assume that Gary Bettman's not the commissioner anymore, but weird things have happened. So, I mean, eventually, it's such a big media market. So I think that's kind of always why, like once in a while when they're talking about expansion, somebody always throws out Atlanta. And it's always like kind of like half joking, but kind of half not. It's because the media market down here is so big and there's so many out-of-town transplants there's no reason why a hockey team couldn't work if they finally got decent ownership for one of them, which, that's its whole thing.
Yeah, it like I said, I felt horrible for the fans in Atlanta, and then the thing that bothers me, and I'm wondering if it would bother you too. I mentioned this when we had a full show where we reviewed all the reverse retro jerseys. Mm-hmm. I thought that would have been a perfect opportunity for Winnipeg to finally pay some homage to the Atlanta Thrashers. Maybe have just their colors with the Jets logo, something cool, because Winnipeg has never admitted. You ask them, oh no, we didn't come from Atlanta. We're our own organization. That's basically their thoughts. Did that bother you or anybody else that you talked to in Atlanta that there's not ever any mention of the Thrashers in Jets history?
Yeah. We all thought it was a little interesting how, it's this weird like triangle of teams between the Jets and the Thrashers and the Coyotes. And Winnipeg just tends to kind of claim the history of both the Coyotes and the Thrashers, but they never mention the Thrashers. So apparently Dale Howard-Chuck, played for Atlanta or something. I don't know. I mean, if you read their website and the team history stuff on there, it's been a while for me, but for the longest time, it was like, yeah. So anyway, we moved from Atlanta and it just like completely skipped to the Winnipeg stuff. So it's, yeah, I mean, it really is kind of frustrating. Like, I mean, it wasn't the best 11 years of hockey, but notable things, happened here that, maybe deserve a little bit of in their history books, but I'm not expecting it anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Dallas kind of completely didn't reference Minnesota for the longest time at all. And then I guess they went with their colors in the retro reverse this time. But yeah, same kind of deal, I guess.
Yeah.
It's weird. I would feel like if I was a fan of a team, like let's say the Blues moved from somewhere else, I would want to have that as part of the Blues history. I'm obviously not speaking from experience, but I just feel like you take on that team's history at the very least when you have a retro reverse jersey, or hey, let's hang a banner or something in the just to say this is where we came from. And so many teams just don't do that.
The one thing that they the one thing that the Jets held on to, which I was really glad about, was the Dan Snyder Trophy at the end of the year for the hardest working player.
I didn't know that.
That's like one tradition. Yeah, that's like the one tradition they kept going, because a lot of the guys in the Jets organization worked with Snyder in the AHL, so they kept that award going, which I thought was really nice.
I guess they're not heartless bastards.
No,
not completely. No,
not completely. So I want to talk to you about your Blues fandom. Obviously, you said you moved to Atlanta in '92. Favorite Blues player of all time?
Ooh, that's hard. Geez, probably just be really boring, and probably just go with Brett Hull. Just because he really was the player when I was a little kid, when I was just getting into hockey. He and Adam Oates were the two players that caught my attention to games as kids. So I know there are so many other great players to choose from, and players that I really have a lot of respect for, but just kind of based on who was the most fun to watch and who's the guy that got me into the game, I'm going to have to go with Brett Hull.
Not a bad choice. I'm not going to call you crazy on that.
Kind of the same line of thinking with the favorite jersey of all time. Well, those who became fans during the clown jersey era, that's they're like, oh, it's a wonderful jersey. Well, sentimentally, it is. But,
sentimentally, but
design-wise, it is not at all.
I mean, they were ugly when they first came out.
Oh yeah,
yes,
yeah. No,
I have a soft spot for them, but they were ugly when they first came out.
It has to be one of the shortest tenured, main jerseys in the 3 seasons.
It was 3 or 4. Yeah.
I think it was 3.
God, that was bad. Yeah. So I was actually just watching. So little preview for those of you who follow my YouTube channel and want to watch live or full past vintage NHL games. Bill just gave me a bunch of his old tapes, and in those is Wayne Gretzky's first home game as a St. Louis Blue. And I watched the first period of that game, and I will say the white, we've said this before, not as bad as the blue one. So it was a little cool to still see it, but I'm thinking, man, I just wish he would have come like 3 seasons later. Gotten one of those like early 2000s jerseys. Oh, I would have loved that.
Those would have been better.
Oh, it's terrible. Terrible. So, obviously you've been, I'm guessing you come up here or go to games fairly regularly. How often you make it up here?
Probably once or twice a season.
Okay.
I have to kind of finish my days off, but just a couple times a year.
What's the biggest game you feel like you've ever been to?
Probably one of the 3 Stanley Cup final games. Probably Game 3, just because it was the first Stanley Cup final game in St. Louis. I mean, I know it didn't end particularly well, but just the feeling and the momentum of having that first Stanley Cup final game, since the 70s in St. Louis, and just having all the attention on us for that night was really cool. Winter Classic was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I would
That was
like
a
to
good
do
one.
that again without all the fog.
Yeah, I was there for the alumni game. Actually, I'm wearing the shirt right now. Chris Pronger one. But yeah, I was there for the alumni game, and same thing. It was foggy. It was just kind of a weird day. But I remember because they kept saying, "Oh, it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. We're gonna have to push the game back." Luckily, it didn't really happen. But still, yeah, you'd hope for either clear skies or maybe even some snow. That's pretty much the one type of weather you didn't want for that day.
Yeah.
So you've been with Game Time since 2008. I just have to ask. I mean, I know you've probably seen some crazy stories come through your desk. What's just off the top of your head? Give me one that you were just like, yeah, I don't, we probably shouldn't post this one.
Oh boy. Trying to think. Anything that I don't post on the website, it's usually not because it's like, it's usually because, like, if it's me personally, I won't post it if it's just something that's, not true or not correct or some salacious rumor that I'm like, I'm not touching that with a 100-foot pole. We have had a couple writers in the past that were doing double duty for the paper and for the blog, that just kind of posted at both places at the same time and kind of posted a couple clunkers of articles. There was one that got somebody a lot of grief because he was trying to look at the statistical, I don't even know how he did this, but he was like trying to look at like the statistical upside to Jay Bomeister no longer playing. And that got a lot of rightful blowback. And I was like, listen, that's on the author. He can try to explain that one away. I think that's probably the weirdest one that I was like, okay, you want to publish this in the paper and the site? All right. Like, he didn't say anything bad. It was just like, dude, too soon. Way too soon. And also, you're wrong.
I think I remember that one. I think I remember being like, whoa, you could have waited like a year to post this one.
Right. And I just, God. That was probably the biggest paper website overlap snafu, I think, just because the paper's a lot more free to say whatever they want to say, and the website's owned by like SB Nation and Fox Media and stuff like that. So there's definitely a different voice and a different.
Did we lose her?
Might have. Let's see if she comes back in the Facebook chat. Mary Woodruff Ponder. I've heard of her.
I think I know who that is. Friend
of the show. Friend of you.
Well, I guess she's my friend.
Mom of the show. What happened to Bill? I think it's okay. I say this now. He had once laid with a woman who was unclean. That's what's wrong with Bill. No, he's. You can snip that out for a future promo, Joe.
Oh, I think I might have to.
No, Bill's tied up this evening. Hopefully not with an unclean woman, but
I would hope not.
No.
I don't think his lady would like that too much.
No, Julie would have words.
Yeah.
Guy Bensing says, I was there at game 3.
Oh, I didn't realize he was there. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, wasn't he? He was. Yeah. I'm not sure it was that game or a game prior. He was on TV or something, or it's a camera panned. He was on like near against the glass. I think that was him that game. And Chris Brace. Chris Brace says, "Hi, Kurt. Cascade is down." Cascade is the CMS that we use at work. So,
well, get on it, Kurt. Jeez, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think he's pulling my leg. He better be, and it's not my job to fix that anyway. I got to pass that info along to somebody else. But Cascade's down. Well, you know what? No one's using S940 at night anyway. You want to resend the link?
She says she's back. So I just hopefully I'm not seeing any difference here, Hildy, but Hopefully we'll get you
got
back here in a minute.
You got that background? That blue
What's
background?
that?
That blue background.
Oh,
The blue background.
What am I doing?
And why is that overlapped on the bottom third there? You see that? Their link? Game time? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, we're
Cool.
good. We're good. Yes. So Kurt.
Yes.
Tell me about your week.
My week. It was actually my first day back at work in
How was
the
that?
office today for the first time in about 15 months. It was. I'm not gonna lie. Going to work, I missed my exit.
Yeah.
I was like, I was kind of just, like, is it this one? I just haven't been that way in 15 months. So yeah, it was good.
So you missed your exit to go to work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was about 5 minutes late
Wow.
going in, and yeah, it was I hadn't been in 15 months, so that's my excuse. But then I walked in and I started laughing. I was like, I missed my exit. But yeah, no, it was like starting a new job for a while, and then all of a sudden it's just like it was back to normal. It's
You
still
get
a lot
right
of
back
people
into it.
Still a lot of people aren't there yet, but no, it was good, real good to be back. I'm not gonna more good than I expected it to be. More better.
Yeah,
more
I
gooder.
was back in my office for the first time last Monday, and it was funny because I walked in with my mask on, and a couple other guys still had masks on. They're like, "Hey, did you get vaccinated?" And they're like, "Wait, we can't ask you that." And I'm like, "No, seriously, it's fine. Yes, I'm vaccinated. I can." They're like, "Okay, well, you don't need your mask then." And I felt weird, like taking it off right there in the middle of the office. I'm like, I should step outside, but I'm like, no, just take your mask off. And it just felt weird to like sit at my desk and work with no mask on, and like not being like in my own house to where I can just get up and go do laundry. Like it was very odd.
Do they require you to wear the mask when you're out and about in the office, or
No
mask?
No, they said
See,
if you're fully vaccinated, you can just take it off.
Yeah, see, they still have the signage up where in the policy where we are, and I think it's a campus policy that you're supposed to wear a mask when you're inside indoors. Which okay, that's fine. I'll do what they say, no big deal. But it's just I just kind of like, but what about those who are vaccinated?
Yeah,
I want to flaunt my vaccination on everybody and say, "Aha, I've been vaccinated. I don't need this mask anymore." But
that's what I wanted to do. I said that I wanted to have a mask that said, "I don't need this. I'm fully vaccinated."
Yeah, right.
I still want to get that. We'll see.
I want to
Maybe
be able
I'll
to
find
judge
one.
people that are wearing masks indoors because you have not been vaccinated. But thank you for wearing a mask indoors.
Yes, thank you. You're doing God's work.
Right, exactly.
Well, HildyMac has rejoined us. Gotta love the joys of a live podcast,
I know.
Hildy. That's just how things
Yay,
go.
internet. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. So I want to talk to you a little bit about this past season. Obviously, Kurt and I last week, we had quite the discussion. We had a full player report cards that we did and just kind of discussed, what to expect this summer. But I kind of want to get this from your stance, somebody who very much understands the St. Louis Blues and is obviously well in the know in terms of, having writers at your disposal.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go wherever you want with this. What went wrong this last season?
Oh boy. So much to choose from.
What went right?
Really
is
is
the real question.
What went right? David Perron. Honestly, I think that a big part about what went wrong, and this is not an excuse, but I think a big part about what went wrong were just the constant injuries that happened. And it just made it difficult. At first, it made it difficult to get any cohesion on ice with so many regular guys being in and out of the lineup. And then what winds up happening is like people are getting better and they start coming back into the lineup. And then you've had a lineup that's played without them for so long. Now they don't know what to do with them. So I think like by the end of the year, I kind of felt like that was kind of balancing out a little bit, maybe. But
hold on. So you're saying that at the end of the season, the last third or so, that the Blues played better? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, a little bit.
Okay. I'm just checking.
I mean-
had a conversation online. That was an unnamed individual said that they did not play well down the stretch. What are you talking about? All right, I thought they did.
Okay, I thought they did pretty well, but I mean,
stats and records say otherwise. So,
Especially
I'm
considering
saying.
the teams they played and how
Oh,
they
they're-
were winning games all
Right?
of a sudden.
The toughest part of the schedule, and they played.
Actually won.
Whatever. Okay, I just wanted to get somebody else to say that. Okay, they did get in the playoffs, right? Because of that play. Okay,
they did.
Right. Go ahead.
I mean,
my
kind of. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
mean,
I get. Hey, they won as many games as the Sharks in the playoffs.
exactly.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
You
Kicking
know.
a team while they're down.
Damn.
We're kind of down too. It's okay.
It's okay. But I mean, I just think that there just wasn't a lot of cohesion throughout almost the entire season, and it's just so difficult to build anything from that. And I know it's really easy to look at them and go, "Well, they're professional athletes; they're supposed to be able to play with anybody." But when you were missing some of the players the Blues were missing, I mean, and who they had to dig in the depth chart to replace them with, like, you can't really just blow this off. I mean, it's a legitimate reason.
I think it was third most man games lost to injury in the NHL. Blues had.
I think
a lot.
so. Yeah,
It was a lot.
it was a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and let's talk about the significance of those guys too. I mean, it was Tarasenko, obviously, who's your leading scorer for years before. I guess they include Alex Steen in that, who I don't care what anyone says was a vital part to the Blues winning the Cup in 19. And then obviously the other injuries they had: Schwartz out, Bozak out. I mean, I like what friend of the show, Ben Hockman, said at one point. He said you could literally just point to a name on the Blues, on the Blues portion of the Stanley Cup, and it's likely that player was out at that time when he said it. I think it was in the middle of February. And I'm like, yeah, he's right.
You know what I hate? The phrase I hate more than anything is when someone says, you can't use that as an excuse. I'm like, I'm not using it as an excuse. I'm giving you a reason. One of the reasons why they had issues this season. And maybe you can't use injuries as an excuse. Why the hell not? It's a legit reason. Why you can't just say that? Oh, they got to overcome. You can't. A team has this many injuries to this many key guys. It is going to affect your play. I don't care how good a team you are, and that it's not an excuse. It's a reason. One of the reasons. You can't use that as an excuse. Why the hell? What?
Yeah,
whatever.
I agree. So Hildy, going into the summer, obviously a lot of talks about free agency. We talked again last week. Kurt and I kind of gave our thoughts on Bozak, Schwartz, Hoffman, the three guys that are the big UFAs going in. What are your thoughts? What do you see the team doing? What what you see the team doing, is that different from what you want the Blues to do?
Well, it's a good question. I do think with Hoffman, I know that Doug Armstrong said, I think it was in like his last press conference before everything was wrapped up, said that he could see Hoffman coming back, but that's kind of like one of those non-commit. Like, you're not going to be like, that guy? No, we're not bringing him back. Like, there's no way that Armstrong would have said that. So I do think that Hoffman's gone, which that was just a weird story the entire season with him. Like, why he was brought on the team was specifically to score goals on the power play, and then everybody got irritated that he didn't fit into the system. And I'm like, well, that's not what he's known for. I don't think he knows what the word defense means. And then him getting the scratch those 3 games, and everybody being convinced he was going to get traded, and then thankfully he wasn't dealt to the deadline, because I really feel like his production on the power play is one of the big reasons that the Blues made the playoffs. But I just don't. This was a one and done kind of contract, and I just really don't think that the Blues are going to focus on getting re-signing somebody who is really good at one particular thing, when I think that Armstrong probably wants to look at more well-rounded guys that could back check. But as far as Schwartz and Bozak, I think Schwartz will probably be back. I would like to see Bozak back. It's just it's kind of funky because of his age.
35, 36?
Yeah, 35, I think.
35?
And
Yeah.
older players, I mean, they don't want to be like, well, I think I only got another year left in me, so I'll just do a 1-year deal. They want to do multi-year as, insurance if they can keep playing or not. And I don't know. I just don't know if Doug is going to want to do that.
Who would give Bozak a 2-year deal? That's kind of making 37. I played well.
I could see
would,
somebody
though.
doing it. Yeah, somebody's going to make an offer to him for that. I could
Not
see.
for what he made last year. Though. He's going to make.
No,
way
he's
less.
not going to be making $4 million, but I think he'll make
No.
he'll make a little less for 2 or 3 years, and then I think he'll be
three
looking
and a
at
half.
1-year deals after that.
Yeah. I mean, if he, God willing, makes it through him healthy.
Do you want? I mean, there's another question. Do you want Bozak back? I saw you. I think it was you that posted that article about it.
Yeah, I was kind of going through and looking at the big three and trying to make a case to keep each of them. And honestly, I wouldn't be disappointed for another year of Bozak. I mean, he played very well this year, and I think his point totals obviously would have been higher had he not been knocked out for what was that, like 27 games. Yeah. And I think that he is a good, useful center on that third line. Like, I think he keeps that line stable regardless of who else is on there with him. So, and the usual veteran leadership thing too. I mean, he does supply that. So I wouldn't be upset with another year. I would think more than a year would be a little excessive, but another year of Bozak I'd be perfectly fine with.
Do you think that it might come down to a situation where the Blues would look to bring him back for a year if they explore their options and nothing else really works out, and they need to sign somebody, and they say, okay, well, Bozak's still available. We know what we got with him. We'll bring him back for a year. I can see that. I mean, do you think that kind of situation that might pan out that way? Like he's like a third option that they have to fall back on?
Yeah, I think it totally could. I don't think he's going to be a player that Armstrong's going to hop on the negotiations with immediately.
Right.
I have a feeling he'll probably talk to Schwartz and talk to that camp a little bit more. But
Schwartz has got to make less, right? Schwartz has got to make a lot less. I mean, but does he take less to come back here?
That's the thing, because there's also the whole thing, like there's going to be another team somewhere that pays him a lot or offers him a lot of money.
Yeah, and if the Blues bring him back, boy, you think it might be expensive. I mean, compared to his production this year.
Yeah,
I said this last week. I think this offseason is going to be fascinating because there's a lot of moving parts right now, and there's a lot of things that can happen. Yeah. And I think at the end of this, like getting closer towards training camp, there's a chance that Blues fans are going to be pissed because we didn't do much, or didn't bring many people in, or weren't able to sign anybody or make a significant trade. And we have so many questions. I can see that happening. I hope it doesn't happen. I mean, Armstrong's capable. He's made some fantastic moves. He's certainly capable of making a good trade. So I would hope that's the case, and because the team needs something, but I can see that. I can see that as a possibility, and have us having some interesting shows and having a pissed off Bill about the Blues not doing a whole lot.
Yes, I do love the pissed off Bill episodes.
Yeah, we need a compilation episode of just pissed off Bill.
So is there anybody that you have your eye on, Hildy? We talked again a little bit last week about there's a couple people who posted in the chat saying this guy, that guy. Now, I don't know how much free agency you've looked at or trade options you've looked at, but is there anybody intriguing to you? Well, I know while you're looking it up, I'll vamp for you. Somebody mentioned last week Brandon Saad being a free agent. Would the Blues be interested in him? I mentioned as a trade target a guy like Boone Jenner, who was a little bit in the news today with John Davidson making remarks about his play and his dedication. Obviously, Calgary is a team that, We'll talk about them in a second. But
Calgary.
Toronto, a team that's probably going to have to make some moves. So there's options out there for Armstrong. Is there anyone you can see that you think, whether it's a team or a player, the Blues go in and try to make an offer?
Well, gosh. I mean, so much of it depends on how much space they have. And getting some of these contracts re-signed. I know that Armstrong's not going to wait around for free agents to sign. I mean, he didn't do it last year, but I mean, that just kind of, because a lot of the bigger free agents who are going to be available are not going to be cheap. I mean, the probably the two best that are going to be available are Brandon Saad and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I'm sure Nugent-Hopkins is not all excited about re-signing at Edmonton right now. For some reason, not sure why, but I mean, like, that just depends on, first off, do we need him at center or right wing right now? Which, but also, can we afford guys like that? So I don't know. I mean, if the Blues don't re-sign Jaden Schwartz, I think that frees him up to make a play for one of the bigger guys. But right now, honestly, like, there's folks that would look good in a Blues uniform. I mean, I would love to be able to free Jack Eichel, but I don't really feel comfortable making a prediction just because there's so many, like you guys said, there's so many moving parts.
Landeskog's out there. What might
Is
maybe
he?
out there.
Which is shocking to me.
He's a free agent. Yeah,
That's confusing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, he is. Oh,
but
well, I'm
he's
sure
gonna
that
make. He's 28. He's probably going to look for like a 6-7 year deal, making a lot of money,
Yeah.
$8-9 million. So
he's a Berube type player.
Yeah, I'm not. I'd love to have him. I'd love to steal him from Colorado.
Yeah.
Oh, I would too.
But man, you got to fit him under the cap.
Give me Landeskog and you take Schwartz. I'd be happy with that.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, now in terms of positionally, I mean, I've made my comments about how I think the Blues need to retool on defense. I know offense has been an issue. I think we're all in agreement that goaltending, at least starting goaltending, has been fine. Is there a certain position that you think the Blues need to key in on to make sure to shore up for next season?
Probably, I would think maybe left wing would not be a bad idea. A lot of it really depends on just production of the players. It's tough to say, well, the Blues need. I mean, obviously, if they lose Hoffman, then they're going to have to do something on that side. If they don't bring him back, and that would be a very good opportunity to bring in a player, who was a little bit more high end, who can score but also play within the system. I would like to see the defense get bigger, and I would like to see if they can find somebody, regardless of what position they play, who could get in front of the net and either get a puck into the opposing team's goal from in front of the net, or get somebody on defense who's big enough to get out there and to get people out of Bennington's way. Like, that should really be, and they talked about it in their in the closing press conferences. That was something that they really needed to work on was size down the middle and getting people to the net and being able to be assertive in front of the net. So regardless of what position, they're going to have to get heavier guys. They can't let other teams just skate directly up to Bennington and take a shot at them anymore.
Yes, that's exactly you must listen to last week's episode, because that's exactly what I said. I loved Justin Falk's game this year. I personally thought Marco Scandella down the stretch was fantastic, and I'd like to see them keep him. But my biggest issue is you got a Falk and you got a Krug and you got a Dunn. A lot of these guys they're not taking up the ice that a Bouwmeester and an Edmondson and a Pietrangelo did. Not even talking about their defensive skill, just the fact that they're not able to cover the rink that other teams, that we see a lot of other bigger defenses do, and how we saw past Blues teams do. So 100% with you. Yes, I want to see this defense get bigger. I think that's a good call.
Is Dougie Hamilton? He's not a physical defenseman, but he's 6'6".
Big dude.
He's gonna make a lot of money. I mean,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's gonna get paid.
I have my questions about him. A lot of people have been bringing his name up for the Blues. It seems like he has bounced a lot, and he's not that old. He's been around the NHL a fair amount. He got traded out of Boston, out of Calgary.
Carolina.
Wasn't there another team before Carolina?
Boston, Calgary, Carolina.
Yeah, and now he's going to be leaving Carolina. I don't think he was a good fit in either Boston or Calgary. So I fear we have. Here's a reference for you, Blues fans. I have a fear that this is a Sean Hill situation, that he's only good in Carolina. Once he goes anywhere else, he's no good. So I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong on that. I'd love to see them get bigger with the Dougie Hamilton, but I do have my reservations about him. I just feel like he's one of those guys that works well in one system, maybe not anywhere else.
He's been pretty consistent over his career. In the last 2 seasons, the shortened seasons, he's actually been amazing point-wise. I mean, he's put up the same amount of points approximately as he did in full seasons the last 2 seasons. So, I mean, this is kind of going away from being the big physical defenseman kind of player that maybe the Blues might be looking at. But I mean, if they kick the tires on Hamilton and he's willing to negotiate, I mean, well, shoot, do you bring him in? I mean, do you like go a different direction there? Because then all of a sudden you got, Falk, Parayko, Krug, and Hamilton. That's pretty badass. Four.
Loki. Sorry, stupid dog. Actually, that's Loki signaling a break for us. So we'll be back in just a minute talking more Blues hockey and a little bit of NHL hockey tidbits with our friend HildyMac here on Let's Go Blues Radio.
Sunrise Brewery is St. Louis's only hockey-themed brewhouse. Stop on in during the next game to experience the ultimate hockey fan brewery while sampling various hockey-inspired beers, such as Old Arena Lager, the Beauty IPA, the Rotating Pale Ale Series, or seasonal offerings such as their Imperial Stout, their Lime Sherbet Sour, and much more. While you're there enjoying any number of their fantastic beverages, you can admire the bar top and tables made of authentic arena wood and the actual penalty box door from the old barn. Located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis, it's one of the best places to watch a Blues game, or any game. Visit CenterIceBrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in the tap room. Center Ice Brewery. Let's go Blues. Please drink responsibly.
Kurt, I do think it's important to draw attention to yes, those of you who might have noticed, manscaped.com, we did not have their ad in the open or in the mid-show. We have ended our agreement once the season ended, and we're hoping to renew back in October. So for those of you who are interested in using the LGB code, I don't believe it's active anymore. So just for the moment, they are not a sponsor, but they will be. I think everyone who has had those conversations knows they will be back in October. So still love Manscaped, loved the products they sent us, still want to support them. If you're looking for anything for Father's Day, recommend checking out manscaped.com.
Chris, I was in the Facebook chat, some comments from Chris Bray, who actually was a participant in the Let's Go Blues radio trivia night. He was in the, I think he lost to, was it Jimmy or Guy?
He didn't lose to Guy. Guy lost. Might have lost to Jimmy.
That's right. I think he lost to Jimmy. So
yeah. Which
Chris,
by the way,
yeah.
We should add, I do believe we're planning another trivia night for a Let's Go Blues radio show.
So are we?
We are. If you don't want to put it on, I will. I think that was a great show. That was a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was a learning curve with the interface that we used, but it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Chris Bray says trade up to draft Owen Power or the other Hughes brother. He also says a top defenseman. I guess that's a need. And he says no way Hoffman is coming back 1,000%. And there is a reason Pietrangelo and Bouwmeester were Canada's top pairing. He also says bring back Eric Brewer. And he says Jimmy cheated. So, and that would not surprise me. Jimmy is a cheater.
That's good stuff.
Bring back Eric Brewer. Nah.
Yeah. Well, it
No.
gives us something to laugh about.
Sure.
Yeah.
One of my favorite broadcast moments, I think I've told this on the show before, was, and I was just lucky that night to be listening to the radio, and it was Kerber and Chase on the call. And I watched the play after. Eric Brewer had the puck behind the net, and he just fell. No one around him. I mean, just, it was like a sniper shot his legs out from under him, and he just fell. He landed on his back. I mean, it was head over, or his feet over, heels overhead, basically. And so the play call was Chris Kerber, and here's Brewer behind the, oh my God, and then just laughter for 2 minutes. So on the radio, you're like, what the hell happened? And you start hearing Kelly Chase like in like a deep just laughter, could not contain himself, just going, did you see that? Did you see that? And finally, Chris Kerber comes back and he's like, sorry, folks, we just saw something we'll probably never see again. Eric Brewer just lost his feet from under him. No one around him behind the net. And I mean, they laughed and they kept laughing. Like, he's still calling the game and you still hear Kelly Chase in the background laughing. Just,
it's probably
just
similar
endless,
to when
endless comedy with Eric Brewer.
It's probably similar to when what's his name? Oh, well, it's drawing a blank on his name. Holy cow! How can I forget? How can I be drawing a blank on his name? The whiffed slap shot in the offensive zone and go the
Patrick
other way.
Berglund.
Berglund, yeah, good lord, yeah. That's probably the broadcast of that call is comical.
Oh my God! I finally saw the Scheifele hit. Holy shit!
Yeah, he lit him up.
He scored the empty netter, and then he just, I mean, he rammed his head with his elbow.
Head was down on a wraparound chance, yeah, and I assume head was principal point of contact there.
Yes,
because I saw one replay and that was it. So,
ooh, that hurts the Jets too. He's going to be out. He's going to be suspended. He has to be. Anyway, Hildy, want to talk to you about coaching real quick. So, Craig Berube obviously will always be loved in St. Louis. He could never win another game as a Blues coach. We'll always have a soft spot for Blues fans. Would ring in the first cup to St. Louis. Do you think he's in the hot seat going into the season?
Well, on Twitter, he was there for a little while. I don't.
That
think
doesn't
so.
count.
No, yeah, God, no. No, I don't think so. I think that they're going to pay attention this year for sure. To see if the Blues can, actually play as a cohesive team. But like I said before, everybody was injured, so it's so hard to judge a lot of performances when you have so many, confounding variables thrown in to your entire season. So I don't think that there's a way they could justifiably put him on the hot seat right now. But I do think that, Doug Armstrong knows that part of this is just how the team is built right now. So I don't think he's attributing a lot of the lack of success to the coaching staff. But I do think, though, that if next season, if they're not competing once everything goes back to normal, if they're not competing well, I do think that maybe the hot seat might start getting a little warm. But for right now,
I think next season is if they play as inconsistent as they were this season without the injuries, and they're 30 plus games in, and it's just, then I think the hot seat thing has merit at that point.
Agree.
but not now. Yeah, I agree with you.
100%. So St. Louis game time. Want to ask, and I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. Didn't warm you up for this one, but anything in your wheelhouse, anything that you're maybe planning for the summer, maybe anybody else at game time that you know of is planning for the summer. What can people expect from you guys in the upcoming off season?
Good question, because the off season's always so exciting for Blues fans. Well, I know that a couple of our writers. I know that Gabe Foley's working on a bunch of stuff with the with not just the upcoming draft, but also the expansion draft too. And I know that he's working on a few features, kind of kicking around possibilities for who the Kraken might take from us and who the Blues should protect. Perron. So just throw that out.
Yes.
Isn't he protected number? I mean, he's like a no-brainer to protect.
Number one on my list.
There's no way. Yeah, I mean, there's no way that they let him go again. But we'll be doing some stuff on the draft and the expansion draft, that kind of coverage, and of course, like breaking news stuff. As far as the other stuff, usually it just kind of happens as it happens. We need to sit down a little bit as writers and kind of kick around. If anybody has any fun off-season ideas or anything like that, usually by the end of the main season, I'm so pooped from doing like all the daily stuff, and then now I'm trying to like do some recaps of the season and stuff like that. To be honest, I haven't really thought too awful much about the off-season quite yet, but I do know that we do have a lot of good draft and expansion draft stuff coming up. So now that I've talked Gabe up about it, I need to remind him to please write it.
Yeah, tell him we're expecting it. Tell him over at Let's Go Blues Radio, we're waiting for it.
Now he's contractually obligated. No, yes. Yeah, no. So I mean, I'm personally looking forward to what he reads, because I always find it very well researched and just like, even if it's contrarian, it's still an interesting read. I know he his opinions don't exactly jibe with a lot of people's, but it's entertaining. Not everything published I agree with, and go with God, but I've always really liked a lot of Gabe stuff.
As long as it's researched and well developed and put together and well written, that's all I care about. I've Ken Campbell over at actually I think he was recently let go, but over at the Hockey News, unfortunately, he's had some pieces in the past that I hated, but I still commended him on Twitter because I'm like, hey, that was well written, well researched, but I hated your thoughts on it. So yeah, as long as it's put together well, that's all I care about.
I mean, that's a big thing, and Gabe backs up his reasoning with numbers. As a not math person, I just kind of take his word for it, but I know that he puts a lot of time into finding those numbers. So
want to get into some rapid fire hockey tidbits here. And Hildy, you're welcome to chime in on any of these. But first, the draft lottery was held tonight. Draft lottery odds for the I'm sorry, not the odds, but the that is the draft lottery odds that I posted, isn't it, Kurt? That's not the right draft. Well, number 1 goes to the Buffalo Sabres, which is really of no shock to anybody.
Does it matter though? They're going to draft first overall. No. They're going to take somebody. He'll be good for somebody else in about 5 years.
Well, it does. It does matter because we're going to lose 5 years of a really good young player.
It's all getting into the league.
Yeah.
Right when he gets to his prime, he's going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm really sad to see that that had to happen. So number 2 goes to the Seattle Kraken, which is where did do you guys remember offhand where the Golden Knights drafted their first year?
No, I don't remember.
I think they were number 3. I could be wrong.
Because the Kraken could have drafted anywhere from 1 to 5, right?
Yeah,
and they got number 2, so that's pretty good.
That's good. Yeah, and by the way,
can we talk about how
is the number 1 pick likely this year? So sorry to you, Owen Power, for what you'll have to go through the next couple of years.
Chris Bray wants us to trade up to get him too, by the way. So which I don't think Buffalo's going to.
What do you move to Buffalo to get their first round pick?
I don't think you can move anything. Getting a number 1 pick is like almost impossible. I mean, cheap, good talent that you can plug in right away. I mean, you got to give somebody, some fantastic stuff.
Maybe Owen Power will come out and say after he's drafted, I will not play for Buffalo. He'll pull an Eric Lindros.
Yeah. Can we talk about how, I think it's a crock of shit that Vegas isn't going to be in the expansion draft, which we're not talking about that right now, but still.
Well, they are not. They're not getting the revenue from the expansion teams, so that's kind of the trade-off, I guess.
I don't care. Lose a player. Just get lumped in with everybody.
I think that the thought at the time was when the second team comes in, the Golden Knights will still be trying to get into the playoffs. I don't think anyone, because they made this deal with them before they brought in the Kraken. So I think it was a well, you're still going to be building. We don't want to take someone away from you while you're building. I think next time you see maybe 2 teams potentially coming in, I don't think you're going to see that deal made by the NHL anymore. There's just too many good players. You just, they ended up with a great team after their draft.
They've been really good ever since they came into the league, and now they don't have to go a player. That's whatever. It's just hindsight on this.
I understand it in terms of it was the deal made before they came into the league, so I get it. But I just hope they don't make that deal again in the future. The NHL, that is.
It'd be a long time before they expand again.
Probably. Yeah, probably very likely. Anaheim Ducks, number 3, number 4, New Jersey Devils, and number 5, the Columbus Blue Jackets. So there's your draft lottery for the top 5 teams. And want to mention a couple other things that happened. So some kind of disturbing news, I guess, out of the Edmonton camp. Oilers defenseman Ethan Bear was subjected to numerous racist messages and comments after the Jets defeated Edmonton in a 4-game sweep. This occurred after Bear's turnover in Game 4 resulted in a tie score, with Winnipeg eventually winning in 3rd overtime. The one positive to take away from this is that if you want to call this the positive, Spirit North, which is an Indigenous sports organization in Canada, says contributions rose by $10,000 in just one day, with donors stating Bear was the reason. So after all these terrible comments came out to him, there were other people that stepped up and started supporting Indigenous sports players, which is great to hear. But it's a shame that had to stem from something so awful and so stupid from so many stupid hockey fans.
I played hockey a long time, and I loved to talk during games, and I trash talked with the best of them. Never even occurred to me. There are so many things you can say in a game to an opposing player, right? To trash talk them, try and get them off their game, mock them, whatever. And you got to go racist? Why? That says more about, when you say it, that says more about you than the person you're trying to trash talk. You're a piece of trash. It's not. It's just. I don't get it. There's so many. It's not. It's not. It's the lowest bar as far as trash talking goes. Trash talking is supposed to be creative, especially in hockey. Be creative. Be funny. Don't be racist. That's just why. You're setting yourself up for all kinds of problems too. Just don't. It's a bad look all around.
Yeah, it's terrible. And so I personal story that I didn't think I'd ever share on the show was I play with a guy that I've known since middle school. Still play with him to this day. Name's Ryan, and Ryan is he's of Korean descent, and he's a good player. He's a hell of a hockey player. Great hands, great shot. has been known to punish teams before with his great hands, scoring multiple goals. Not a dirty player by any means, so never necessary to really go after him, except for, you know how it is, Kurt, playing men's league. It's, oh, he's good, so we got to slash and hack the shit out of him.
Sure.
So
I get it.
yeah.
If you can't catch him, got to hack him from behind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
So that's what it was, and he's used to it. So he just puts up with it, doesn't say a word. And we were in the handshake line, and unfortunately, it was the 1 week I wasn't there. I heard about this after the game. There was a guy who skated up to him and shook his hand and said, "Good game, chink."
Oh, what?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And he just looked at him and was like, "Come on, man." And I guess a couple of my teammates surrounded the guy and went after him. But I mean, he told me that night, and I didn't sleep that night. I mean, that's how much it bothered me, because it's just, you got to be kidding me. Like, first of all, it's a men's league. You're going to throw out a racial slur in men's league because a guy beat you on the scoreboard? And two, just why use racial slurs at all? Like you said, come on, grow up.
If it was my team, if I was captain of that team, that kid would not play anymore. I'd be like, no, thanks. No, see ya. I'm not gonna. No. I don't want that on my team. No, thanks. This is supposed to be fun, and it's men's league, right? I mean, yeah, you want to win. You guys take it serious. That's fine. Don't race. That's such a stupid path to take. It's dumb, ignorant.
Agree. I don't understand it. I've played with people from all races, all genders, and religious backgrounds, and that thought has never come into my head. I just don't understand how people can let that dictate their lives. It's crazy.
A lot of things you can say to you're pissed off at somebody, even if they're good, and you're just being a sore loser. You just rag on somebody because they're good. Whatever. That's weak in my eyes, and not a reason to. And it's like, good game. Fuck you, good game. Do that if you want to say something. Don't.
That's all he said. Okay, we won, so be a bad loser all you want. Be a Grubauer. So a couple comments I want to get to in YouTube. Race Fan Rocks 4. He changed. Oh no, it is still 4. Race Fan Rocks 4. Big Eric Brewer fan, as we always say. Thoughts on the Scheifele hit? Sorry, don't know how to spell his name. Yeah, it's a tough name to spell. I don't blame you.
SHYFLY.
Yeah. It's player safety. Do you think they will suspend him? They have to suspend him.
Oh yeah.
That was a dirty ass hit.
I want to see the more replays just to kind of break it down and see where he hit him and how he hit him. But based on what I think I saw the first time, he's going to get suspended. Now, I don't know what his suspension history is, and if it's going to be more than a couple games, we'll see.
Remember when he ran? He was the one that ran Binnington in the first round, right?
Did he?
Yeah, game 1. Early on in the game, he that was like set the tone. He hit Binnington behind the net.
Okay.
Right. Hit him real hard too. You remember that, Hildy?
Yeah. Because the first game in Winnipeg, a couple of the Jets players tried to run Bennington, but I really remember Scheifele doing it because I was like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah. So I'm
expecting that out of him.
I will admit, I love Mark Scheifele's game. So when he did that, I actually applauded it as a hockey fan, because I mean that made the people in Winnipeg just go nuts. Even though it caused a power play for the Blues, I loved it. Now this hit, I don't feel the same way.
I just pulled up an article from looks like it's from St. Louis Game Time by HildyMac.
Don't read.
It says Mark Scheifele says he tried not to hit Jordan Binnington.
Yeah, which was bullshit.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
I'm gonna watch the replay here on the GIF. Oh yeah, that's bullshit. Bullshit. He completely
So again, we mentioned that we went to Center Ice, which by the way, Hildy, You've been to St. Louis a couple times since they've opened.
Yeah.
Have you been to Center Ice Brewery yet?
I have not gotten a chance to go there yet, but they are on my to-do list.
Yes,
really-
the next time you're in St. Louis, make time and let us know too. We'd love to join you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're big. I mean, obviously they're a sponsor of the show, but not just that. Even before, I think I've told the story in the show before that when they came on as a sponsor, I literally had my friends at my like hockey teammates who listen to the show, like messaging me, wait a minute, Center Ice is sponsoring you? Why would they do that? Because you already talk about them all the time. And I'm like, I guess they just like the show.
We have a
That's fair.
special relationship with Center Ice Brewery, and they sell our stickers in house. Well, they will when we get them some new ones. So had to revise them. But yeah,
No, definitely check that out, Hildy, next time you're in town. And if people ever ask you, good places to check out in St. Louis, Center Ice Brewery comes very highly recommended. Great spot. So we went there Saturday night to watch Game 6 between Montreal and Toronto. But I do want to mention Monday night, a big win for Montreal. Toronto, question for both of you. Will Toronto ever win another series again?
I'm not gonna touch that one.
Maybe.
You can go ahead.
I hope so. I mean, like law of averages says that they have to, I guess, but man,
17 years, right, since the last
Jeez.
playoff series
Yeah.
win.
The
And they've had
Sabres
some where they-
playoff series.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
And they've had chances too. I mean, they've
Mhm.
had series leads late. They've had a Game 7 lead against Boston, which is like comically one of my favorite implodes of all time. Was it 2 or 3 goal lead in the third period, and they blew it late.
I think they were up
in the third period.
3-1.
3-1.
Yeah. And then
Lost
lost
in
4-3.
in
Yeah.
overtime. Yeah. So yeah, I've said it before. I like having Toronto be this futile. And not because I'm
10 minutes.
I hate the Maple Leafs. I just think it's funny that this happens to them, and it makes for great theater on how are the Leafs going to blow it this season, right? It's just and I want to say that as Blues fans we can kind of relate, but not at that level of futility. I mean, we had issues advancing deep in the playoffs for a long time, but not like this. This is something they are the Blues. They are worse than the Blues were at if people like to make fun of the Blues as far as their playoff history goes, but Toronto is far worse. And then they haven't won a cup since the Blues came in the league. So they're
Yeah, and that's
it's
the point
hockey
that,
mecca. The hockey mecca.
and that's
like
the
you
point
think
that I
they would
make
be-
is people say, like, before the Blues won the cup, people like, well, at least Toronto's won a cup. And I'm like, but who was alive for their last cup win?
Yeah,
Right?
Like, you look at the majority of their fans, they weren't alive the last time that team won the cup. So is it really like they won a cup before? Because nobody's ever seen it.
I
It's
feel
a
bad for
tree
Steve
fall in the
Dangle.
woods situation.
I like Steve Dangle. I like his
Yeah.
takes.
Yeah.
I like his shtick. I appreciate his passion. He's educated. He's honest, and I love that. He's not. I think Toronto fans have a reputation of being crazy and unrealistic expectations every offseason as far as free agency goes, and the trade deadline they think they're getting every top player. But I really feel bad for Steve Dangle because he's not like your typical Maple Leafs fan. He's a I watched Game 7 along with Steve Dangle. He had that streaming thing that he did with Sportsnet where you could watch with he was streaming live, had the game up on Sportsnet, and you could watch with him and see his comments and stuff during the show, which was fantastic. And it was great. It was funny. He was honest, and was watching him being frustrated was a weird. I don't know, masochistic is the wrong word, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was fun, but I do feel bad for him because he's in his lifetime. I think he said he was in high school the last time the Blues, the Maple Leafs won a playoff series. So
Rough. You shared a pretty hilarious quote from Austin Matthews.
Before the series,
Yeah,
during the season.
go ahead, Kurt. Go ahead and read that one.
Well, and this was shared. No, let me. Okay,
February
this was shared-
13th, 2021.
Yeah, February 13th, 2021, and it was reshared recently. He says, honestly, it's pretty easy. We haven't had much of a test here, to tell you the truth. It's kind of boring, dominating the same teams each night. Hopefully, we'll be challenged come playoff time.
Oh boy.
And you were.
And you were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matthews and Marner combined for 1 goal. So
Yeah.
that's pretty rough. Pretty rough, folks. We used to bitch about the Oshie Backus Steen line not contributing in the playoffs. Woo! This is about 10 times that.
Yeah. So it's just funny. I mean, stuff that doesn't age well, stuff that comes back to bite you. You know, it's just kind of funny.
Well, again, I want to thank HildyMac, Laura HildyMac, for joining us. It's been a lot of fun having you on. You and I, like I said this before the show, and I think I said this on Twitter. You and I have conversed for many, many years. I know Kurt has conversed with you many times as well, but we've never actually sat and had a conversation. This was awesome. It was great finally getting to talk to you, Hildy. And we'll gladly have you back anytime you want to come back on. So
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Anytime you ask, you guys know where to find me.
In Atlanta, somewhere.
Atlanta. Yeah. Right.
Pretty much.
And again, you can follow her on Twitter at HildyMac. That is HildyMac. And again, read everything she writes over at St. Louis Game Time. Also find St. Louis Game Time on all your social media platforms. We really appreciate having Hildy on as well as Brad Lee, somebody we've had on multiple times as well. We always love having our Game Time people on. So
screw Brad Lee. He beat me at the trivia contest at Center Ice one night. Yeah, him and Jeff Jones and a couple of people teamed up against like me only, and beat me by a few questions. Anyway, I'm not better. I'm not better. I'm not better.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not better. No.
Hildy, is there anything else that you'd like to plug before we let you go? Any other place people can find your work or anything like that?
Really, it's all on Game Time. That's pretty much the only place that I'm doing doing all my hockey writing is at Game Time. So if y'all are ever interested in reliving the dream of the Atlanta Thrashers, the SB Nation actually does still have Birdwatchers Anonymous memorialized. So I do have a bunch of stuff over there that's kind of like a really weird time capsule of the end of a franchise. So I was actually thumbing through that the other day. It was interesting to kind of go back and see that again after 10 years.
I still look back at some of the stuff I wrote in 1999, 2000, and I'm like, wow, that was such a different era for Blues hockey that it is now. Even post Stanley Cup, it was just, man, the all-stars on those teams. It's really interesting to go back and read some of those. You know what? I asked you your favorite Blues player of all time. I'm gonna go ahead and ask you right now. Favorite Thrasher of all time?
Probably Marian Hossa.
That's a solid pick.
Yeah. I mean, I know everybody usually goes with Kovalchuk, but it's a toss-up between Marian Hossa and Johan Hedberg. Those are my two.
Oh, the Moose.
I'm a fan of the Moose.
Yeah, the Moose is awesome.
I am. He's a good guy.
Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com and get 10% off by texting Dustin at 636-393-8745 and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. That's Dustin at 636-395-8745. I'm sorry, I think I said that wrong. 636-393-8745. and by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's hockey-themed brewery. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup. And we still have in the copy here, Kurt, make your reservation for their tap room, but I think they were just open.
No, I did contact them. So I don't know, maybe something with the website's not functioning properly, but they said that they do still want people to make reservations, even though I went there and that option was not available at the time. So
For
I don't
Saturday.
know if they're working on that. Yeah. So, but I mean,
Okay.
whatever.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
still, before you go to centericebrewery.com, go to their website. Before you go to Center Ice Brewery, go to centericebrewery.com, make a reservation to their awesome tap room. While you're there enjoying a number of their fantastic beers, you can admire the bar top and tables made of authentic arena wood. Located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis. It's one of the best places to watch a Blues game. That's Center Ice Brewery and centericebrewery.com. Please drink responsibly. That will do it for episode 38 of season 9 of the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the show. It's been a blast as always, everyone, and I look forward to talking with you all again next week. Again, a big thanks to HildyMac for joining us from St. Louis Game Time. For Kurt Price and the On Assignment Bill Day, I'm the lovable Jeff Ponder. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Beat Kroenke.
Thanks, guys.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
A look at sports.
I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number one. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score. They are quite a hockey team, my friend. They never give a single goal away. And to prove it, they are champions every day. 'Cause when it's said and done, they'll have them on the run. These old St. Louis Blues are here to stay. St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about us?